Hey everyone, my name is Casperanza. Happy 4th of July. I got my blue and red on. This is the only blue and red clothing that I possess, so I had to work with what I had. Um, and today we are going to be talking about the astrology of the United States. Just a really quick video. I thought it would be fun and kind of interesting. So, Um, the United States has a very auspicious astrology chart. Like it's a very good astrology chart. It explains why the United States is such a wealthy country, why it's so successful, why it's such a powerful country. It's just a really good chart. And so let's talk about it. The first thing is that it has a Sagittarius ascendant. Sagittarius is the explorer, the seeker, a very big and positive sign, which means that Jupiter is the ruler of the chart, and Jupiter is located in Cancer at 5 degrees. And so this is really, really good because, first of all, to have Jupiter ruling over your chart is great because Jupiter is the benefic. In Hellenistic astrology, you want the sun to be above the horizon. If you want the maximum benefits of Jupiter and the sun is above the horizon, Jupiter is also exalted in the sign of Cancer. So all of the luck and the power of Jupiter is at its fullest, especially because Jupiter is the ruler of the chart. So it's kind of like steering the ship, and the ship is at its best placement. And then on top of it, it is conjunct Venus. Venus is the smaller benefic planet. So both of the benefics are together and in Cancer, which is really, really good. I mean, it explains again why America is honestly such a great country. I think it's a great country. I am not, um, I'm not as leftist as people probably think I am. Um, and then the sun is also at 13 degrees of Cancer, and which means it is conjunct the fixed star Sirius. And the fixed star Sirius is the wolf fixed star. It's kind of like the lone wolf. And Sirius is also a very, very powerful fixed star. It's kind of like the star Regulus, but it's very, very different. It's not like aristocratic and kingly like Regulus. It's more of like being a hard worker, being kind of a loner, doing your own thing. It's very independent. So, like you find with fixed star Sirius is that there's a problem with time and a sense of not having a history, and also being kind of an outsider. And this explains the American spirit, right? Americans are very much like go getters, be independent, do your own thing, work hard, and it's also a melting pot. And it's also kind of isolated, which is a big theme with Sirius, is that there's this sense of being not at home wherever you are. So you kind of make your own home, which again, that is a very fixed star Sirius thing. And what's really, really interesting is that it matches, it's kind of like Elon Musk's chart. So if we go to Elon Musk has his, where is his chart? Elon Musk also has his ascendant at 13 degrees and his sun at 5 degrees, which lines up really well with the United States. The United States has the Jupiter on exactly Elon Musk's sun, and then the United States has its sun on exactly Elon Musk's ascendant. So in many ways, at least in my opinion, I think Elon Musk represents the American spirit. Also, quite recently, we heard in the news that Elon Musk became the first trillionaire. And that happened when Jupiter and Venus came together at 25 degrees, or around that time. If you actually go, this is actually the 4th of July chart right now. But about like a week ago, or a couple weeks ago in June, Venus and Jupiter came together. And that was around the time when Elon Musk was announced or recognized as the first trillionaire. And I think it makes sense that an American, someone, right, who wasn't born here but came here and built wealth, right, that's a very American thing. So I think Elon Musk represents the American spirit in a lot of ways. And again, Jupiter is the great benefic. Venus is money and the smaller benefic. When they come together, it's very positive. It's a sign of wealth and opportunity and success. So it makes sense that they came together when Elon Musk was announced as the first trillionaire. Um so that's the big thing with these Cancer placements. They're also in the eighth house. I don't know what to say about that really. The eighth house is the house of finances, but receiving finances from other people. Um, so I'm not really entirely sure what to say about that. I'm sure another astrologer could say something. The other thing that's really fascinating is that there is well, I guess I'll talk about the midheaven in Libra since I talked about the ascendant. So, land of the free, which is like Sagittarius ascendant, home of the brave, which is like Sun and Cancer. But the midheaven is in Libra. And what is Libra? Libra is the sign of freedom. It's the sign of liberty. It's the sign where the lady is holding the scales, right? Because she represents freedom and independence, which is very much about the Aries and Libra axis, right? Because all signs are opposite each other. Every sign has an opposite, and the opposites work together to create like a kind of they work together to create a kind of like a special, I don't know how to say it, like a special power. So when the Aries and Libra come together, it's about having independence and strength and being fair, right? Because Aries is very, I'm independent. Like I'm my own person, right? That's very American. Americans are very independent. They forge their own lives. They're individualists at the end of the day. But they also have a public perception or a midheaven of fairness, equality, justice for all, right? That's very Libra, right? Because Aries wants to take and be selfish and independent. Libra is about being fair and balanced. And that's how America works itself out. But what's really interesting is that Saturn is here. So Saturn can represent all kinds of things. It represents limitation and restriction. I also think of like a statue, quite literally a statue. Saturn is a very serious and Saturnian um, planet. It's the planet of seriousness. And so Saturn is also exalted in Libra, and the midheaven is public recognition. It's also kind of what you're known for, right? What is America known for? It's known for the land of freedom, for equality and justice for all. And so, what is a symbol that comes to mind every time you think of the United States? I think of the Statue of Liberty, and this is quite literally symbolized with the Statue of Liberty. And there was actually this really cool, there was this really cool Godzilla trailer that came out a couple months ago. Um, and I think it's really interesting because, I mean, it came out April 14th, 2025, right? It represents the United States, right? It's like Saturn in Libra, that statue of freedom and prosperity that, like, because Saturn takes things very seriously. So wherever Saturn is in your chart, this is something that you hold on to quite, like, this is serious. So if you have Saturn in Libra, you take freedom and fairness and equality very, very seriously. But what's really interesting is that you see Godzilla coming up from behind, almost as if it's going to destroy Lady Liberty. And I think this is quite symbolic of the fact that, again, April 14th, when this trailer came out, during April, there was this crazy stellium in Aries. Like all of these planets in Aries, right? And it's opposing Libra, which I think is incredibly fascinating. So I think all of this energy in Aries represents Godzilla symbolically towering over Lady Liberty in the Saturn in Libra, right? Like there's this huge opposition, especially because even if you go forward a couple months ahead and all of those planets leave, we still have Saturn and Neptune in Aries. And Saturn and Neptune were recently in Pisces, right? And Pisces represents the ocean, it represents the unconscious. Aries represents freedom and independence. So, like, again, it goes back to Godzilla, where Godzilla is like this monster in the ocean, and it kind of represents this independent nature coming up all of a sudden. So, I just thought that was a really symbolic thing that I wanted to point out. Um, so it's almost like a reverse. It's almost like the statue is now in Aries. And then the next thing I wanted to say about the United States is that the United States has Pluto at, is it 28, 27 degrees of Capricorn. So the thing about having Pluto here is um, America just had its Pluto return. And so America has been around for literally 250 years, right? This 4th of July marks the 250th year that America has been around. And what's very interesting about Pluto is that it takes 250 years for Pluto to go around the zodiac. So the United States is having its Pluto return. What does Pluto represent? It represents death, transformation, destruction, and rebirth. So you could say the United States is having a major transformation. And I actually remember hearing somewhere there was this historian that talked about that all empires eventually fall after about 250 years, which I thought was so fascinating. Because that's how long it takes Pluto to make a revolution. And if you look in this book, like, I don't know, it was like Search for Survival by Sir John Glubb. If you go to this section right here, all of these empires ended at around 250 years. Some a little bit shorter, some a little bit longer. And you could also say they're a little bit arbitrary. Some empires have lasted for 500 years, some much shorter. Why 250 years? I think it's because Pluto represents true death and transformation. And so if you think about the United States right now, I think the United States is going through a rebirth. Now, maybe you don't think about it that way, maybe it's not, but I think symbolically there's a real transformation taking place, especially with Trump's presidency. I think, and this gets to my next part, I think when the North Node or Rahu moves into Aquarius, I think we might see a sudden, I don't know, revolution. Something revolutionary will happen because right now, if you look, the Rahu or the North Node is in Pisces, but it's about to move into Aquarius. And this kind of taps in more to the freedom and equality for everyone, right? Because Libra on the midheaven for the United States, it literally, like, it is the perception that America is the land of the free. But America also has its moon in Aquarius, and Aquarius is about humanity. It is about the people at the end of the day. Like, it very much cares about the people. The moon in a country's chart also represents the people, and so the people are very much about the people. Aquarius is about taking care of the people, like the people matter. And so I think when Rahu moves into Aquarius, because Rahu is about increase and blowing things up and taking things like to its intense and extreme, we're going to see a lot of emotional turmoil with the people. Like, the people are going to go crazy, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it will have something to do with Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump is a Leo. He has his ascendant conjunct Regulus, which is exactly opposite the moon, where the people are, right? And so I think something will happen with Donald Trump that will trigger intense emotions for the people in the next coming month or two. I really seriously believe that. I'll do another video on Donald Trump. But yeah, when Rahu moves into Aquarius, I think we'll see a huge shift. Um, and it'll be kind of revolutionary because Uranus is in Gemini over here. Um, right? Naturally, United States already has Uranus in Gemini. It already has Mars in Gemini. I mean, and it will be making a trine to the Pluto transit Aquarius. So I think we might see some kind of a revolution or a huge change, especially because Pluto um has made its return. The United States is having its Pluto return. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the United States. It's a very fascinating chart. It's incredibly interesting. Um, uh, yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.